like a typical Monday, kind of quickly recapping Saturday night. Phil, like I said before, really proud of the guys. Just talk about the response. Multiple times in the game, we needed a response, what other phase it was, and we got that done. We throw an interception in the first half. Defense bows up 3 and out. And we get the missed field goal. A big-time response there. I think Iowa opens the second half with a scoring drive. Come back right there and answer that offensively. Get the game within the fourth quarter. They get the game within one score, and offense puts together a drive to respond to that. So just was really pleased with that. Also talked to the teams, yesterday a little bit. Again, these things are going to be 4-quarter games. Played our best in the fourth quarter when we needed it and finished that way. Offensively, mentioned it. It showed up on tape. The balance, I think that was just critically important for the whole operation to be able to run the football like that and then complement it with some explosion in the pass game. Both Marsh, Montori were huge for us. They show up in the stat book, but also they were doing a great job blocking down the field. They had a couple that allowed our backs to crease. The backs, I think, ran pretty physical. It was nice to see a couple of those youngsters actually get a carry too. By far, the O-line best game, on the same page, did a good job with it, and I think it was Aiden's most complete game after watching the tape. Still some things to grow from, not just Aiden in the whole offense, but overall. When you move in against what I still think is pretty good defense in Iowa, a good effort there. Defensively, stopping the run, throughout the night, the goal was to kind of almost just contain the run game. It did a great job against it. We gave up the one crease, so that made the stats look a whole lot better. And it really started with the front seven at the line of scrimmage, D-line, defensive ends and the inside backers, and got to talking to him about it yesterday. Yeah, front seven, we played 17 different guys in that front seven. We talked about the rotation we've done at D-line, but even in the linebacker level, the rush position, 17 different guys played in the front seven and did great. Nakai, huge play on the interception, had a nice game as well. And then looking at it, Jonathan Kim, those things were huge, and it was accurate. Now, you talk about the snap to the hold, the thing is down, because we actually showed a couple of things, field goal protection-wise, there was, a little leakage that we got to tighten up, but, Kim was so critical in that thing to maintain momentum and whatnot. So, pleased again with the performance. Crowd helped us again. Appreciate Spartan Nation all the time when we're playing at home. Moving forward, we got a huge week in front of us. We all know this thing is special. Rivalry weeks in the state. This is what college football is about, and so this is a big, meaningful game. Anticipating it being a tough, physical, big challenge Saturday night at their place, and we're looking forward to we're going to have a great week of work and preparation leading into this one. Questions?
Hey, Jonathan, how much, what's the challenge when it looks like they're not going to name a starting quarterback, and how you prepare they played 3 guys there, and then doubling down, like the look you got against Iowa, where they're a run-heavy team, how much did that help prepare you for Michigan, which likes to do the same?
Yeah, you prepare what you see on tape, and we've got tape of, all their players that have played offensively. Again, it is about a run game, because this run game of theirs is potent, can be unique in some of their schemes. They do a nice job with that, and so it's a physical brand of football that we got to get ready for.
I'm wondering, when you come out of a game like that, managing the emotions of a big win versus managing the emotions of a rivalry, how have you guys tried to handle that this week? Is there, because D'Antonio used to say that, you want to peak towards the end of the week. How do you kind of build towards that?
Yeah, I think, again, you're building toward putting your best, performance, but your best energy ready to go on game day on Saturday. Our approach has stayed pretty consistent. We play a game on Saturday and we come in on Sunday and deeply look at it. Whatever the score was, we deeply look at it, approach it, find ways that we can build off of, things that we got to get fixed. That was no different yesterday. And then, we're going to put heavy work in on Tuesday, Wednesday, and on the physical side. And then it turns into more tightened details mentally as we get closer. I don't have any doubt that our guys will be excited, ready to go Saturday.
Jonathan, why do you think the running game was so much better Saturday night? And we always talk about third down conversions. How important was the first down success, being ahead of the sticks?
Yeah, the run game, it was better. We had a bye week to take a look at a couple of things that we need to do better. I think that showed up on Saturday. Don't want to give all our schematics here, but we had a little bit more variety, whether we're under the center or in the gun. You saw Aiden run a little bit more, and that contributed to some of the some of the success. And anytime, 3rd and 8 versus 3rd and 2, there's going to be a huge difference in your third down conversions.
Unlike most of your predecessors as head coach, you don't have any history with Michigan. Did you feel it coming in? I mean, just going around and feeling what this rivalry meant, even in recruiting. Do you have a feel for that? And obviously, you'll get one this week. But any preconception of that?
I definitely felt it upon arrival. I think I got asked about him even with my introductory press conference, and so no, I felt it since getting here, understanding this is an important game, most important regular season game we'll play, and the passion for it, which I love being a part. I've been in multiple in-state rivalries, and so no question, it's been well received on my end that this thing is important.
Is there a game in this series you ever watched, either in your coaching career or even before that you remember or not?
No, I remember some highlights. I remember, a punter that, not going there in regards to multiple, but that one stands out.
Jonathan, we saw Alante warming up on Saturday. I was wondering, do you expect him to play this week? And
Alante
what-
Brown?
Yeah, and what he brings to this offense, because we barely saw him in that opener.
Yeah, we'd be anxious to get him back because he helps us not just offensively and on the return game. He's getting really close to being fully confident to go out there. And so, yeah, we hope to have him for the back half of this season here, like I say, offensively and in the return game.
With Coach Moore being a first-time, full-time head coach for Michigan, this being your first year with the Spartans, kind of a new era in this rivalry, do you look at it from that angle at all, how special that is?
Well, I know it's new for me, and excited to be a part of it on that end. And so, looking at, they got some similarities, schemes from the last year or two, but each year is new. They got some new stuff, and obviously we're pretty new on that side too.
Jonathan, you mentioned there's just no escaping. There's some differences with this game. Do you try to embrace any of that in practice this week, or you try to make things as normal and consistent as possible with just sort of not being able to avoid what it all means?
To me, you definitely try to look for some consistency in your practices, your approach. At the same time, this game is different, and so we started with that a little bit yesterday. Just educating all of us, right? We got 61 new guys on the roster the first year here, coaches included, and so we talked about a little bit of the history and educating them there yesterday. So we are doing a few things that are different.
Coach, I know a lot of coaches look at the analytics when you especially get down to the red zone. You credit Kim for making those 6 field goals. What goes into the decision making whether to keep the offense out on 4th down or go for the field goal?
Yeah, there's a lot. So the opponent, the game flow, what you anticipate the score being. Is this going to be high scoring, low scoring? Obviously, the distance matters. 4th and 1's a different 4th and 5. Where the current score on there is a field goal going to separate? You're looking oftentimes to get it to a 2-score game or separate. So, a 4th down decision, if we're up 3, oftentimes it can be an error on being a little bit more aggressive because you kick it and make it, it's 6 points, that's still a 1-score game. If the game's a 6-point game and you kick it, it turns into 9, you can be way more aggressive on that kind of thing. So that's the logic of 3 points versus 7. A lot goes into it.
And then Nick Marsh, 18-year-old kid from Detroit here, second breakout game of the season.
Yeah.
What have you seen just in the growth from him?
Yeah, he works, man. He's got obviously some talent, but his work ethic and really his maturity, understand the schemes. He's got savviness well beyond being 18 years old on how the style of route running he does. I think we did target him 7 times. He had 7 catches the other night, and we want to continue to find ways to get him the ball.
2 separate questions. One, because we covered it a lot last week with the night games, but what is there a benefit to maybe having the muscle memory of the day schedule with how many night games you've had going into this one?
Yeah, I think routine is good, and so if they've gotten into a rhythm, we've played at night, and so what the routine of really Saturday has turned out to be inconsistent, being at night, and so they know their routine of what they need to do to get themselves prepared to go has been beneficial.
And the second part, we talked about Aiden, you mentioned about him running more. What's the balance with that? And is there, I don't know if concern's the right word, but do you have conversations, particularly in a rivalry game where the hitting gets a little more intense, maybe the after whistle stuff gets a little more intense, to just manage and balance the decisions to stay in the pocket versus taking off?
Yeah. You're managing that all the time. We definitely want him to be a passer of the football. We want to make plays from the pocket. His skill set oftentimes does allow him to extend the play. And then, yes, in the run game can be a ball carrier, but we want to be smart with it. We're not going to ask him to carry it 25 times most games, that type of thing, but we want to be smart when we're toward the sideline. And I flip it on the other side, defensively. We got to be smart around the sidelines, and after the play type stuff is not going to help you win the game.
Jonathan, do you know any of the guys on that staff at all?
Not deeply, to be honest with you. I've run across a couple of them. I'm trying to think here, but no, not deeply.
You mentioned on Sunday sort of the education of 61 new guys, new staff toward this game. What did that look like? Like, who led that? How do you guys go about that?
Well, I gathered a ton of information. I read through a lot there, and I highlighted some things. It really focused a lot around the Paul Bunyan Trophy and kind of what that means. This game's different. We're playing for this trophy. Gave them a little bit of the history. Learned myself kind of on that end. That's where it started with the education of the guys.
This is no genius deduction by me, but Aiden had his best night on the same night your offensive line had their best game. You were able to run the football. My question is, that opens up his dual threat when you're getting all those all cylinders. That's not coincidental, right?
Yeah, all those things go hand in hand without question. The ability to get positive games in the run game. I did think the protection was solid throughout the night. Of course, you can analyze this thing. You go back on the tape. We were on some edges. And again, Iowa had a good defensive front, and we're facing a very similar, if not better, defensive front this week. And so we got to find ways to continue to tighten it up. And again, we're on tape now with a little bit of new scheme of having some success. And this is college football. They got good coaches over there in scheme, and so we got to be ready to adjust and adapt to what we see on Saturday.
Michigan's blocked a kick in 3 straight games. Is that something that you have to prepare for, or as well as Jonathan's kicking, you just let him go?
Well, we got to prepare for it. We're not going to hesitate to get Kim out there. He's a weapon, but we got to shore up some details on that thing. And I mean, that's one of the. If you're on field goal protection, that's not every guy's favorite play to be in on. But asking those guys to sound up in there and because it's a huge part of it, and you're definitely correct. Michigan creates some problems in that area.
Jonathan, I mean, obviously this is a game both teams are going to get up for, but do you have, I guess, the sense that they're coming off a national championship, been in the playoff 3 straight years, and now they're 4-3, and they're kind of back against the wall as far as saving their season. Does that enter anything into it?
The back against the wall description, I mean, we are now in the back half, and these games mean more, right? As you want to put a successful season together. And so I think it's not just for us in this game, for the entire conference. You look at this thing week in and week out. I mean, you got to bring your A game to earn victories, and so this one will be no different.
Jonathan, you mentioned Saturday night, one of those situations where Aiden had sort of like the inside or outside caller, and we see him making a lot of stuff, doing a lot of things with line of scrimmage. Can you sort of quantify how much freedom he has up there? Like, is it everything that's available to him? Will there be more to him as he gets older?
Yeah.
Where's that sort of?
We try to. It's not everything involved. He can just call any random play he wants. We're not there yet, but there's a lot. Whether it's run to run, run to pass. Pass to run. Sometimes it's just a protection thing on getting that. Sometimes we've got multiple plays called, and so we're running it or we're not running it, and then we definitely are just making things up out there to make it look like we're doing something, but we're running the play.
And then this couldn't be a less consequential question, but I've had a lot of fans ask me, who decides the uniform combinations for you guys?
Well, I guess because I got the title, I own every decision that is made. But I do get a lot of advice from Mix and Match, and our players few of them have hit me up on what they prefer moving forward on some different combinations. So I'm not really answering your question, but at the bottom line, I got the title, so I guess I make the call.